Welcome everybody, Comically Gaming.
What's up?
Woo, we're back. This is episode 119. We're a
Yeah.
little bit more excited than usual because for us it's been a long time.
Very long.
Yeah,
Too long.
A month plus a
It's
Thanksgiving
been a
break.
while.
Hope everybody's Thanksgiving was great. In the month of December, we're going to do something a little different, a little special. We're going back to weekly shows. More to come, kind of, for what the future of Comically Gaming looks like. But for the month of December, we're going to do our top 10 list for the year, once a week, coming out on Tuesdays. So the first show that we're going to cover is actually our Dungeons and Dragons show, which doesn't really fit the top 10 mold. But of all of the key things that we like to touch on throughout the year, we're so into Dungeons and Dragons now that we figured we should have that discussion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta give it some love.
Yeah.
Give it some love.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, take it away, guys. I don't know. Overall, 2018 for this, me and Corey's second year of playing in Dungeons and Dragons. Your guys' kind of second year in the renewal, right? Since playing with us and whatnot. Like, what do you guys think?
It's really surreal. It's funny because looking back, especially going back and looking at some of the old episodes of Comically Gaming, I think it was 34. When you first broached the idea of who wants to play D&D, it was out there, but it seems ever since we started playing Strahd and getting back into it and getting you guys all into it, it just it pops up so much more now, and I see it everywhere.
Definitely.
I do see it.
What did we play before we started Curse of Strahd, Dirk? Was that
Raise
anything
them
on that
high.
book, or where did?
No, I homebrewed. I took an adventure from 2E
Okay.
and like basically updated it, converted it into 5E and homebrewed it.
Gotcha. Yeah, I forgot. I just haven't had time to go
I
back.
kept wondering that too. Yeah.
Terrason, married to Terrason,
Right.
and Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think just Jeff, what you're saying, it's funny the popularity, blowing up, all the
Big
different
time.
all the different things across the internet, and just I think the ability to play these games the way that we do, to me, has been the big, that'd be a deal breaker for me if we weren't able to play over the internet. If I had to pack all my shit up and go over to somebody's house, I would not be able to do it weekly, like we do. So I think just the convenience for old fuckers like us, it makes it a lot easier to get into.
Well, and it's weird because it wasn't too long ago. I can't remember who it was. Dirk might remember, but someone was on Colbert saying that they've been playing Dungeons and Dragons. Some celebrity.
Yeah, it's the guy married to what's his name?
I can't remember his name. But it was
Death
funny.
Saves guy.
Yeah, Death Saves, and they're talking about how they play D&D, and then Colbert is like dropping some actual knowledge of that he has played it, and I was just
Joe Manganiello.
There we go. Yeah, it's just
Pee-wee's co-star.
yes.
Yeah, he was on Colbert talking about it.
And it was just, and like he plays what I thought was funny is he plays a Dragonborn Paladin, and how that was like some just something unique, and I'm like, I play a Dragonborn Paladin.
yeah, I know. I was
That
like,
is
that sounds familiar. The woman from Daredevil plays also the redhead.
Yeah,
Yeah, big
Yeah.
into
Oh,
the canceled redhead.
the chick that was from True Blood too.
Yes, yeah, she's big into it.
But-
I saw some people recently, like at a coffee house, playing it. I was like, whoa! I wanted to stop and like chat with them, but I thought it might be awkward to just jump in. But
It's just it's weird how it's become socially acceptable now because
it's very weird.
It's for years, for decades, it was that closet kind of. You only
Right.
play in the basement. And,
Yeah, I play with a group of 20-year-olds now. Ever since we started playing, I'm in 3 games so now. I DM a game. I play the 2 games that we play online, and I play the one of DMs in person, and they all love it. And it's like I take Ubers everywhere, and I always tell my Uber drivers talk about it, and they're always super interested in it. So it's totally blown up, like, and everybody knows what it is now. Like it's awesome for sure.
Yep.
Corey, what do you think this year was your first time at being a DM? How's that game going? How are you? How's it treating you?
It's going really good. It's cool because it's all of their first time playing and my first time DMing, so we're all kind of learning together, and
Sure.
everybody's patient with each other. We also party a lot, so sometimes we can barely make an hour before we're all too drunk to keep playing. But it's really good. Like a lot of it, playing on a grid is a lot different than the way we do it online. Like, I'm so used to a room and everything in it, and like, oh, what's in here and what's in here and stuff.
Right.
And with them, like, so when I started playing with them, I would draw out every room I walked into, and that was taken up. And like, if you look at the maps in the books, they're like this big with 100 rooms in there, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, and so I'm trying to draw all these little rooms as they walk into it, and it was taking up like half the session. So now I don't draw anything. I just describe. I read the description of the room, and if they want me to draw something out to show them, I will. And then other than that, I don't draw anything until I say roll initiative. Like, and
Mind's eye.
Yep, exactly. So that part's cool, and it kind of forces them to actually think about it, you know.
Right.
And
They can't be sitting there on their phone.
Yeah, exactly. They have to be paying attention. So it's really fun, and the combats. We finally got combat down. I don't know. It just took a little bit. I kind of knew how to DM the way you guys do it just because I'm in those two games, but playing in real life was a little bit of an adjustment for sure.
Different, yeah.
And so I had to get I bring my laptop, and I have a full-size picture of the actual map that I keep on my laptop that's way bigger than the map in the book now. So I always have that open, and honestly, it's easier to Google the monsters than to try and find them in the monster manual because it's not alphabetical. It's so hard to find monsters in the monster manual.
I put bookmarks in
I
it.
use that
Do you-
every time.
Do you use a DM screen when you play?
Yeah, I got my laptop behind it, and then I make my rolls behind the screen.
Well, like an actual screen, or like a DM screen that it'll have references.
Yeah, no, I have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the official.
Nice.
Wizards.
Now you see how much work it is.
Yeah.
Prep is not
It's
easy.
I'm glad I started with this Sunless Citadel, like Dirk had suggested, because it's not too heavy on the role playing or anything. It's actually pretty easy with prep time. It's really helping me just learn how to physically do the whole thing, and also teaching them how to play, but a simple adventure at the same time, so it doesn't take a ton of prep or anything like that. Some weeks I don't prep at all, to be honest. I'll just start off where we left off in the book and describe the rooms as they walk into them. So,
Yeah, it was funny for me in my first few sessions. I would really prep out the fights, just so I could keep them moving as quickly as possible. But now I do just kind of wing it too. Like I have my big events that I want to happen and think those through. But the actual individual fights, I can just really quick flip to a stat block, or I'll have a bunch of pictures on the iPad that I'll just go through to find the monster stats. And basically, all that I'm doing on paper anymore is just keeping track of hit points. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's what
initiative.
Initiative and hit points I keep track of, and other than that, it's all on the computer.
That's cool.
No.
Jeff, how about you're getting ready to start DMing yourself? What's your preparation looking like nowadays, or is there not? Or what?
I've been reading through it, and I've been watching this one. I'm not good with names. There's some guy that I found has a lot of YouTube videos that talks about different aspects of how to DM a game.
Okay.
So I've been watching those when I have a chance, and as it gets closer, I'm starting to think about it more. And I've been rereading like the first couple of chapters, basically the first chapter, so that I pretty much know everything already.
Right.
So that by the time we get through that initial and get out into the adventure proper, it'll give me time to like just focus on those sections as we get to those.
Yeah, I found like for me, as I got towards the end of the book, I had already read those portions like 6 times by the time we actually get there. So those ones are like real tight in my mind. Like I know what every room's going to be like and everything, you know. Dirk, how about you? How about you know, you've been taking us through a hell of a ride with Curse of Strahd. I was recently reading Curse of Strahd was ranked #1 by somebody who did a list of all the pre-made campaigns that Wizards has done. And it's funny to start with that. You know, I have no real kind of place to put it in my mind other than Lost Minds, right? And I'm just really digging it. How are you feeling about it?
I love it. It's the side quests in that campaign make that campaign what it is. I mean, you have a few interactions with Strahd here and there before you guys haven't even gotten to the castle yet. I mean, that tells you, like, I mean, the castle is almost. It could be half of the adventure. I mean, I'm not saying that for you guys it will be, but you could play it like that. There's so many different ways to go in that campaign that are just, I think, a little different. Also, I mean, the horror aspect is cool to explore that with a fantasy take on horror. But yeah, like you said, I've reread that book. I mean, I don't reread it all the way through, but I'll read a chapter 5 or 6 times, you know, to get ready. I'm anxious about getting to the boss battle if you guys get there.
Sure.
Don't say if.
I find
because
I'm nervous.
If anything, all we'll do is have the bard, like his name escaped me right now.
Pepto.
Yeah.
That motherfucker will just set that shit on fire, and it'll just solve all our problems.
The Labyrinth Slavers are very reliant on fire for solving problems. That's
We
real.
are.
Wow.
We're like pyromaniacs.
Yeah.
You think of when we first started with Ravenloft.
You started it with the first
with
one.
the burning hands. I set half the party on fire on a raft.
I had to let that go through. Yeah.
And it was a good learning to get everyone. And then, you know, and then Josh sets the tower for Glassstaff on fire, burns that bitch to, so we have to worry about
a lot of fire.
Yeah.
We set that witch's tower on fire.
Yeah.
It's the witch's tower on.
And the dragon tower.
And we tried to, we nuked the shit out of that tower.
Well, like 4 times.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Dirk, like you say that, like for me, that's the real joy of playing Dungeons and Dragons as the DM, which everybody says, and of course it's true, is I just love it when the group comes up with like something that I never even crossed my mind, right? And
That always happens.
Yeah, so like, you know, the fact that that Horrence put the dragon to sleep and that the dragon rolled a 1 on that, like that was like, you know, nowhere near my mind sort of thing, that it would be anything other than like either this thing destroys you all or run, you know what I mean? Try and get away from it, and or use the nukes, just whipping out that fireball. But yeah, like that's what I tried to build everybody up to have enough firepower to be able to fight something that's way overpowered. And whereas if I didn't even have to, that would have played out the same. Y'all could have left him sleeping and stolen all the cool loot that was from there, sort of thing, you know. And so it's just interesting, like to my mind, when somebody makes a suggestion of like, hey, I'm going to try this, and when in my mind I go, oh shit, does that work? Like, and just to me as a DM, it's like the answer has to always be yes. So then how do you make yes work? You know, when somebody comes up with something cool, you know. So it was like Amy farting in the dude's face in Curse of Strahd in the Amber Temple.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's one of those moments. It's just like as soon as somebody says that, you got to say to yourself, "Yeah, I gotta make that work, right?" Because
that was a
awesome.
Perfect example.
Yeah,
because
right.
I didn't have a way for
that.
you guys to get out of that.
Right.
And I was like, he's gonna nuke them. they're probably going to be half dead by the time, and she just put that to bed real
Yeah.
quick.
I know, it's just amazing. It's.
I was like, dang.
I think I think of the most memorable parts and NPCs would be the Dragon Cult Bros.
Right.
and the all-time favorite is Blinsky.
Yeah, Blinsky. Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. That pick.
Man,
It was fucked up when the armor got smashed
yeah.
and Godfrey got smashed.
Or what about
but-
Merla? I mean, I wasn't planning anything like that. Merla's the greatest curveball. I mean, I can't believe that happened. And I mean, it's not over, but it's just crazy to think that a character, that whole sequence of events, I mean, just blew my mind.
And Merla is now an NPC. I mean, she's not dead.
Maybe somewhere.
Well, it's funny how quick the party just like, okay, fuck it, we're gonna kill Merla. It was like not even a thought.
Yeah, she had been egging
the
you
whole
on.
time.
I was not like that. I'm real side till the end. I'll say that, right? So we again, these shows this month are going to be a little bit smaller. We're actually recording 5 in one night, right? So not to go crazy on these. What do you guys think about? Just real quick, like what's new to you this year? If we're talking about 2018, like for me, it was the Crystal Shard. Reading that book really kind of changed my mind around the kind of quality that some of these D&D novels can be like. I know Corey read way more than me also, but in all of that, I'm still not through the Dungeon Master's Guide. Like I've read the Player's Handbook from cover to cover, and I'm like halfway through the Dungeon Master's Guide at this point.
There's a lot of stuff in the DMG.
Yeah, so and then that doesn't even, I've got the Sword Coast Adventures Guide over there. I've got the Xanathars.
Yeah.
That I got to get through just to be able to run the base games for me. You know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't even count Volvos and what's the other one I'm thinking of?
Xanathars,
Mordecai. Yeah, Mordecai.
Yeah.
So yeah, but for me, the big one was the Crystal Shard. I just assumed that the quality of those novels was real poor, and it was great, really great. Blew me away.
Well, I mean, when you talk about Crystal Shard, Salvatore, he's actually one of the pinnacles of Forgotten Realms lore. I mean, you think of him. Another one's Ed Greenwood with the Elminster series.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, Salvatore wrote another one called the Cleric's Quintet with 5-book series about a cleric. And I somewhat loosely based Jan off of that series.
Oh, it's cool.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, you look at, like, some of the books in my collection from Salvatore, if you take on, like, there's another section of the War of the Spider Queen where other writers have taken Salvatore's ideas with Driz and the Drow and flesh it out even more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and what I love about the books, same with you, Nate. I read the first 6 books of the Drist series this year, and they add so much to the lore. But I've also ran into my player character has ran in to the same people that Drist has, and so it really that makes it sweet. Like you're like, holy shit,
Jarl Axel.
Not even Jarlax. I can't even say it because Nate. It would be
Don't say it,
spoilers for
yeah,
Nate.
don't say it.
He hasn't read that far.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like it's deep connection. Like I'm like, holy shit, Drist. Drist has interacted
like
with them
Rockstar.
as well. So
Yeah.
like,
You're 2 steps of Kevin Bacon away from Dritz.
They're awesome. That's probably that and DMing for the first time this year. Obviously, is my highlights of the year.
How about you?
I'll be doing Dragon Heist.
That has the most kind of background. I feel like that pulled us
I
us all
guess.
into this. How's this year feel like compared to the past?
Oh, it's amazing. My question, I guess. Well, first I'll say my favorite. All right, I guess the biggest revelation this year is Eberron because I guess I didn't know where Wizards of the Coast was going to go next.
Right.
And Eberron really feels like just in that Wayfinder's Guide, a break. Like they are taking a step forward with that because it's so different. It's not like Ravenloft or Forgotten. Like there are baked in tables and like swashbuckling events and just crazy stuff to roll on that that really haven't been in some of the other campaign settings yet.
So like
But
you're saying, like the fact that what the other games that we've been playing are kind of just taking traditional D&D and building it for 5th edition, whereas Eberron feels like something new.
Yeah, I think Eberron is just I guess it's because Keith Baker, the whole development of it coming from a contest, and that he scripted this as a homebrew setting and won the contest with Wizards of the Coast, and it just came out in 4th edition, I believe. So it's not as old as some of the other settings, but it's just very, very different. I mean, with the use of the ships and the low-level magic being as commonplace as it is, and the sort of moral gray area, it's just an awesome step forward for Wizards of the Coast. And that leads into my question for you guys is, where does D&D go from here? Because can it maintain this popularity that it's riding right now? Does it get even bigger than what it is? Or curious to see like where it goes now that it's this big.
I feel like
Right.
for me,
I mean,
it depends on
the content they put out, I guess.
I
I mean, if enough people are playing it and they keep putting out good shit, I don't know, but it was huge when you guys were younger and then it fell off, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was never, I don't think it was ever this big.
It was never this big, and I think it's partly social media and Stranger Things has really put it back in that limelight.
Yeah.
I'm just
What do you
hoping-
Nerdy culture in general, I feel like. Superhero movies are the top grossing movies. Game of Thrones is the biggest show. Like, everybody's way more into nerdy stuff now.
Yeah.
I think it just
I think
to
they-
me, like for me, like I just hope that they really stick with 5th edition for a while. I'd love for them to just pile on the other books around 5th edition. If they're like, hey, we've got this huge fan base now, let's start over, that would really rub me the wrong way.
Nah.
So I feel like, to me, like, just keep on making good content around it, and I'm happy as can be.
I think that errata that they came out with is a good indication that they're going to stick with 5e
For a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
They're just
Okay,
going to
well-
update.
What else? Any final points, guys?
I would advise people to not just do D&D. If you have curiosity about other systems, go out and check them out. I mean, read through them. I think Nate got The Witcher. I'm reading Deadlands right now, which is a Wild West campaign setting.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I got
Um,
Cyberpunk, and I'm getting the Star Wars one for Christmas.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's just a lot of awesome ones out there. Vampire just came out with their new one. I think Cult is doing one. So,
I want to read even the old school Cthulhu stuff too.
yeah, and I think they have a newer one too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think that's what's good about Nate's the question that was posed, is with the resurgence of Wizards of the Coast and D&D becoming popular again. I think you're going to see an influx of other systems all of a sudden get
Sure.
boosted
Yep.
out.
yeah, I think so too.
So I think it's going to create healthy competition, so that Wizards of the Coast can't rest on our laurels and has to continue to make great content to compete with, other things. It's sort of like Image Comics is really good competition for Marvel and DC.
Totally.
Jeff, Monty Cook Games. Monty Cook was a big developer in 2nd edition. He has his own thing now called Monty Cook Games, like Invisible Sun and some other stuff that's supposed to be really out there. Super weird RPGs.
Nice.
Well, biggest complaints. My biggest complaint is these fuckers.
Yes.
The only way you can get the pre-painted minis is to buy booster sets. And we got 3 of the same ones, of the big ones, the cool ones. And these are $16 each, and you get 5 minis. and to be getting duplicates and for that to be the only way to get them, that's a bullshit Wizards move.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Mine is the books, the digital books, and having to repurchase that if you want to use them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Buying the books.
There's, I think going forward, to touch on that, going forward, I think it would be prudent for Wizards of the Coast and D&D Beyond to get together and start printing codes, digital codes,
Yes.
like Marvel
Right.
does in their books,
Yeah.
but hide it in a way so you can't just go to the book. I mean,
Right.
you
Have a
to start
seal on it or
seal
something. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you can
Or a
sit there
disc.
and get and then that way D&D Beyond would get subsidized from hard copy
Right.
purchases over digital. Because I'm a hard copy kind of person. I don't like digital as much as I like hard copy.
Agreed.
I'm with you, Jeff.
'Cause
And if we're talking about big gripes, my big gripe continues to be that I'm a physical person also, and I wouldn't switch over to digital. Like nowadays, if you buy a vinyl album, it comes with a digital code.
Yes,
with it.
exactly.
They should do a similar thing somehow. Make a code work, for a one-time purchase for you to register your book or whatever.
Or a
and they
disc.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, discs are dying.
This 1995.
Right.
Physical media is going away.
So
vinyl.
I guess the one last thing I just wanted to throw out there, a couple different kind of resources for anybody that's listened to us talk about D&D and thought, should I get into it? Like that's what we did for years, and then we just did it and we love it. Now it's like our favorite shit. Speaking for me and Corey, anyways. Some other kind of resources and stuff. I think the best one out there is WebDM. YouTube.com/WebDM. Their weekly show is the best out of everything out there to help you play the game better and learn about the history of it and everything. To me, I'd
Who's the other
also give shout outs to Digital and Dice podcast. I really like that one. Those guys have been on our show a couple times, friends of ours, like supporters. Really appreciate what they're doing. Also, there's a WASD 20. I've been liking his stuff. Matthew Colville. I like his stuff.
Colville's
That's
my
the
favorite.
guy.
Colville's my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matthew Colville. That's the guy I was watching. He has a beard. Looks like
Yes. He's
Werewolf
amazing.
Jack. Yeah.
Yeah, he's famous. These are all the famous people in
Right.
Dungeons and Dragons right now, right? But there's a reason why, because they're great. So if you're starting to get into it, try and look up some of those shows I just mentioned there. Also, Greg at worldbuilding.io. I was just looking at his site the other day. Greg's been on our show. Appreciate that
Greg.
as well.
Especially
You
for
guys
Greg,
got
'cause
anything
it's
else
5
about
a.m.
D&D? Any other shout outs like that?
And if you want something just for SRD, look at dndbeyond.com.
Okay, sure.
I
I
mean,
watched the Labyrinth Lifers.
or watch
Absolutely. Because we bring the heat. The other awesome thing about D&D Beyond is they do these articles. Like if there's they'll feature a class and talk about ideas for it and stuff. They have really good articles on D&D Beyond.
Cool.
But I watched Labyrinth Lifers when Dirk was sick.
Yeah.
So
Voice is terrible.
that's going to wrap up this week's show. Next week, we'll do the top 10 comics of the year show.
Ooh, woo.
Ooh, yeah.
See, everybody watch our clothes to see how many different outfits we wear over the next 6 shows.
Because we're going to wear the same clothes for...
I'm not saying it.
Check out our buddies over at Mutiny Info Cafe, where they not only have a great selection of used books, records, and great coffee, but they also have a fantastic selection of new and used comic books, graphic novels, and more. Mutiny Information Cafe in Denver at the corner of Broadway and Ellsworth, and online at mutinyinfocafe.com.
Mutiny.
All right, it's time of the show where we give back to the community that gives us so much. Give our shout outs. These are all people on YouTube doing the same thing as us. Struggle's real, trying to build their channels up, and we're trying to help. They supported us, so we support them.
So you should go to their stuff.
Go ahead, check them out.
Sub them up.
Check them out.
Yeah. So we got this week we have Hearth Music, Smark to Death, HSFL Paranormal, Rebecca Willingham IRL, Draper Mortimer, Quest for Gaming, and Fruit Snack 7.
Nice.
Thank you. Name of the week?
To me, like, I was thinking over and over again, I'm like, Smart to Death, that's awesome. Quest for
Yeah.
Gaming, that's cool. But then Fruit Snacks came up.
Yeah,
Fruit
Fruit Snacks.
Snacks.
Z? Yeah, I'm
Fruit
in.
Snacks Z7.
Yeah. The 7 at the end is great.
Unanimous.
That's what I laughed at the hardest.
Are there other fruit snacks with a Z out there?
It
Like
must be. It must be.
6 other ones, huh? Wow.
It's unanimous.
Well, congratulations to
Platinum.
They should
It's
start a group.
blast.
Get all 7 fruit snacks together.
You are the name of the week.
All right,
You
fruit
are
snacks.
Z winner.
Thanks everybody for watching the show, listening to it. You can find us for free every Tuesday on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and at youtube.com/GCandC. It's important to us to always put that show out free for everybody, but it's not free for us to make. So please go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/GCandC. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. Help make this thing better.
I'll make Jeff holler.
Yes. Good time. Absolutely.
Find us on Twitter at GCandC and join our Discord and Facebook groups. Just search for Games, Comics, and Culture or Comically Gaming.
Cool. And if you want one of these badass t-shirts or you want a sticker with our beautiful cartoon faces on it, go to teespring.com. I plan on getting a shirt from for somebody.
Don't do that. Don't split. It's close to Christmas. Because we always have to thank Fred Thomas for our opening logo, and we have stickers, and Xee Reiter for our kick-ass logo that we have. And Fred Thomas did the music, and I was making a correction. And
Thank
as
you.
always, thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you!
You mean?